Okay, so I am going for my M test in about a week, and I've been kind of assessing my basic skill set and what have I accomplished in the meantime. And this remains one of the most challenging things, and not that it's impossible, but I found it to be a challenge, especially when I started out. So I'm going to show you an example here. So here I am coming up to a stop sign, and I'm getting ready to slow down, and I'm looking right, I'm looking left, and then I do a little roll. I didn't completely stop there, and I made my turn and continue on. And this is another example. I'm coming up to a stop sign, I'm checking my right side, my right lane, my both directions, both ways, and I continue on. This simple action, making a right turn, like especially when there is a stop sign and you're kind of looking both ways to get out into your lane to make a right, I find it just so overwhelming when I first started out, because there is this subtle deceleration that you're coming to a stop. And I gotta admit, I've been cheating a little bit by doing these little rolling stops. And what got me thinking is, now that I'm going for my M test, I need to do a proper stop, right? So I'm coming to a stop, and here is another example. I'm stopping, I'm looking both ways, and I continue on. Now, this isn't usually a problem if there isn't a vehicle, but sometimes when there's a vehicle approaching you, or there is you're waiting a split second because you think there might be a vehicle behind another vehicle, you're doing these double takes and your head's sort of on a swivel, and to go that slow speed and that balance and engaging your clutch and brake, I found that to be one of the most challenging things when I first started out a residential street and I moved onto traffic. And so naturally I asked ChatGPT about what makes coming to a stop sign and looking both ways while making a right so difficult. And ChatGPT came up with just some information confirming my suspicions. So stopping a stop sign on a motorcycle can feel surprisingly difficult because you're doing a lot of things at once. Balancing at a very slow speed, the head movement, it affects balance. Coordinating controls, right? You got your clutch, your brake, gas, rear brake, and maybe even shifting. Road conditions, you're also looking for like uneven pavement, gravel, painted lines, things that can kind of affect you coming to a complete stop. There's also target fixation and intention splitting. And this is the part that I find kind of tricky, because like sometimes, and I'll give you an example. Like I came to a stop sign once, and there was a bus shelter on my left, and I wasn't sure if the bus was going to go or stop. And I've completed my stop, I'm about to merge, and he starts going. So I totally like target fixated on him. And all of a sudden, I'm forced to take action with my bike. With all this riding done, I still find this tricky sometimes. And I'm wondering if this is the case with you guys. I've got 97 subscribers, has this been a thing when you started riding your motorcycle? And, they talk about motorcycling being really good for your brain and that flow state and that like mental brain plasticity. And I think this is one of those things where it really challenges you on all those fronts. You kind of have to be present. You have to assess the situation in real time. You have to be engaged with all these little controls, and you have to balance a 400-pound motorcycle. And it's really challenging. I'm not saying this is the most difficult thing, but it is one of those things that constantly surprises me when I come to a stop and I'm about to make a right. And I think it's that especially that right turn that's tight. It forces you to go slow, and it's surprisingly challenging. So let me know what you think. Have you had this issue before when you started out? How have you dealt with it? I'd be interested in hearing what you've got to say about this. So I'm going to be practicing this a lot this week prior to my M test. Cheers, take care, and ride safe.